The hot hatch is as popular as ever, and with the arrival of a new Vauxhall Corsa comes the latest VXR model based on the affordable Super Mini. And Vauxhall's certainly thrown all of its knowledge at this car, sending 80% more power to its front wheels than the next quickest Corsa in the lineup. With 202 bhp, it's just ahead of the Fiesta ST, Peugeot 208 GTI and Renault Sport Clio in the Super Mini Power Wars, and costing a grand less than the outgoing Corsa VXR, it also undercuts most of its main rivals. So what's it like where it counts out on a British B road? Well, as a customer, you have an important decision to make, and that's whether to go for the optional £2,400 performance pack, which brings larger Brembo front brakes, stiffer suspension and a limited slip differential for extra grip out of corners. And it's the suspension which we'd recommend you try before you buy, because it really does make this car very firm over bumps. In fact, it's so stiff we think the standard car is more composed, faster and a much happier place for your passengers along most UK roads. So unless you go to track days often or even want to compete in some grass level motorsports, we'd recommend the comfier standard car, which handles superbly and still has ample stopping power. And what about that engine? It certainly has plenty of power, getting the Corsa from 0 to 62 in just 6.5 seconds. There's also some pleasing induction noises from the air intake, and there's a pleasing rasp from the Ramus exhaust, which is tuned to within 1 decibel of the legal limit. Vauxhall has also really concentrated on the quality of this gear change, which is far better than before thanks to a short shifter, which really slots home very sweetly indeed. The steering's also more precise, and while the whole car still isn't quite as communicative as the fantastic Fiesta ST, we'd now take this over the Clio RS or even the Peugeot 208 GTI. Sadly, all this fun does come at a price, and the Corsa's more expensive to run than its rivals, with fuel economy of just 37.7 mpg and CO2 emissions of 174 grams per kilometre, making it rather pricey to tax. The exterior of the Corsa might only look subtly different, but inside it's a different story, and that's thanks in large part to this excellent touchscreen, which is very clear and allows you to connect to your iOS or Android smartphone through something called IntelliLink. The dashboard's design and layout is now ahead of the Fiesta, but still can't touch the ultra classy Polo GTIs for overall fit and finish, as there are still some cheaper plastics, especially lower down in the cabin. The VXR is well equipped though, with a heated windscreen and bi-xenon headlights fitted as standard for those dark and frosty mornings. There's also a whole host of VXR badges around the cabins and other modifications like this leather flat bottom steering wheel. Recaro Sport seats with cloth and leather bolsters come as standard, or you can get these all leather items which are even heated. Be careful of the large blind spot created by this very thick A-pillar though, particularly at roundabouts and level crossings. The VXR is 3-door only, so getting access to the rear seats can be quite tricky. Once you're back there's plenty of space, but the wide front sport seats and tapered side windows do make it feel a bit claustrophobic. A hot hatch is normally someone's only car, so it has to have a decent boot. In the case of the Corsa, it's 285 litres, matches the 208 GTI, and is just 5 litres shy of the Fiesta ST. Fold the rear seats down and it grows to 1050 litres. Despite only being in its second generation, special edition models like the VXR Nürburgring and Club Sport have given Vauxhall's engineers a chance to really hone this Super Mini. It's now very competitive, and even if we think the performance pack might make it a little bit too firm for British B roads, this is one of the best hot hatches on sale. The interior is far better than before, and its price tag makes it one of the best performance bargains in the UK. Are you a Corsa VXR fan? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. To watch reviews of the Corsa's rivals, click on the links at the end of the video.